Hi lovely people, and welcome back to my tutorial for today. I sincerely appreciate you guys for your love and your support. And please, if you're yet to subscribe, kindly help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. Okay? And at today's class, we shall be looking at how to make a corset lace back. Okay? Actually, this is what we are looking at to achieve after our today's lecture. So please don't go anywhere. Watch till the end, and please give this video a thumbs up. So let's get started. Okay, so first I've draft out my pattern, but I'll go through it again to show you how we arrive to this. Okay, so remember that what we are making is an off shoulder corset back lace. Okay, so here I have I'll be minusing 4 inches for my off shoulder, which is optional. You can minus 5, you can minus 6, depending on what you want. But for this dress, I'm taking out 4 inches. Okay, all right. So here, and the length of the dress I'm making is 14 inches. I added extra 1 inch, okay, for the joining, because this is actually a dress. Okay, but our main focus is just the corset, the back lace. All right, so I'll be adding 1 inch that I will use in joining the down path. So here, my measurement starts from this point. Okay, so here I will take my upper bust measurement and my under bust measurement. Okay, so my upper bust is 7 inches, but I added half an inch to it to make it 7.5, which is this point. And here is my under bust is 13 inches. I added extra half an inch to it to make it 13.5. Okay, so this part here is my zipper. Okay, so here is my zipper area. Okay, so here is my under bust, and here is my under bust, and here is my upper bust, where we'll be taking our bust measurement. Okay, so here I'll go ahead to mark my body measurement, and the bust we are working with is 32 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 8. Okay, so we mark our 8 inches, which is here, and I added 2 extra inches, okay, for my allowance. All right, okay, for the waist I'm working with is 37 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 6.75. Okay, so here is my 6.75. I added extra 2 inches, okay, for my allowance. All right, so coming up here, which is our upper part, okay, we take our shoulder measurement here, and the shoulder I'm working with is 14 inches. Divide by 2 will give us 7, so I minus 1.5 to give me 5.5. So from there I connect it to my bust. Okay, so here I'm going to trim out this excess that is here now. Okay, this is what we have. But because this is a corset, we don't need this zipper part. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and trim this zipper part out. So I'll just trim out this part off. So at this point now, you determine how open or how wide you want your corset to be. Okay, so I'll be using 1.5 for it. So from this upper part, I'll be taking 1.5 inches. Okay, I'll just mark my 1.5, 1.5. So I'll just go ahead and connect it. Okay, so here I'm going to trim all out this part. Okay, I'm going to remove this part off. So for this piece, if we are to take some corsets, when you look at the back part, you will see that some do make another as in cut another fabric to use to cover the back if they don't want it to be revealing their skin. Okay, but for this particular dress, for the client, he said that he wants the back to be open so that they can be able to see through the skin. Okay, so I won't be needing this anymore. But if I am to make the one that I will close the back, that I will still keep it, then cut it out and use it to cover the back. I'll still show you when we reach to that place. So for now, I'm going to make use of this part. So I'll use this pattern now to cut out my main fabric. Okay. Okay, here I have my fabric already cutted out. So I'll just go ahead and give it a neckline. I just use 2 inches. Okay. Let me say 1.5. Just give it a neckline of your choice. Okay. And remember that when I was cutting this, I did not add any extra allowance for our darts because I don't want this to have a dart, but you can actually add yours if you want. Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and use this to cut out my linings. Okay. Okay, so now I've already cut out my fabrics and I've gone ahead to iron it out with my pepper stay. Okay, so that it will have a little bit of weight, and this is the lining for it. And I've also cut out my rope, and I'll be using this 1 inch for my loop. Okay, and I have 2 inches here for the rope. All right, so I'll just go ahead to the machine now and stitch this up for my rope. All right, so whereas I will do this one in a very tiny form. Okay, so after that I'll come back and show you how we are going to attach it on our dress. Okay, so let me just quickly go to my machine and stitch it up. Okay, so now I've carefully stitched up my loop. You know, initially I said that I'll be using 1 inch for my loop and 2 inches for my rope, but I later shortened it, so I used half an inch for the loop because it has to be very tiny. Then I used 1 inch for my rope. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to take our measurement where we will be inserting our loop. Okay, so I'll be using 1 inch each, but first of all leave half an inch. Okay, so I'm starting from those points. Okay, so I'll just mark 1 inch. You can decide to use 1 or 1.5. Okay, but I'll be using 1 inch, so I'll just mark my 1 inch. Okay, so I'll be stopping at this point. So here I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I have 10 lines here where my loop will be. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing here so that it will be of the same length. Okay, so I'll just make my markings. Okay, so next thing to do is to cut out our loop. Okay, so I'll be using 2 inches each. Okay, so I will use those 2 inches that I've already cut out to cut my remaining 20. So altogether I will have 20 pieces. Okay, I will have 20 pieces of those 2 inches. So I'll just go ahead and cut them out. Okay, so here I have my 10 pieces. Okay, so 2 inches each, and here I have my 10 pieces. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now, go to my machine, and I'll fold it like so. Okay, then I'll be facing it towards this direction. Okay, like so. So that is how I'll do it all till the end. So I'll just put it this way and stitch it up. Okay, till the end, and I'll do the same thing to this side. Then I'll come back and show you how we'll be using our lining to turn it up. All right, I've carefully attach my loops to my dress. So the next thing to do now is to turn it out with my lining. Okay, so I'll just place my lining this way, and because the dress I'm making is a sleeveless dress, so I'll just stitch up the armhole part, then the neckline, then I'll stitch it up here. Okay, but I'll make sure that I stitch on the same line of as here. Okay, so that I'll not have a double line or stitch on top those my loops. Okay, so I'll just stitch on the same line. Okay, then stitch up my neckline and the armpit part, then I'll sew up here and turn it out from those parts. So I'll just go to my machine now and do the stitching. Okay, so I've gone ahead to stitch this up. Okay, so I'll just turn it out this way. Okay, I'll just use my iron to iron it out so that it will be smooth. Now close up those down parts before attaching it to my dress. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and attach my rope. Okay, but I'll first make sure that I have up to 3 inches here. Okay, so after that I will attach my rope. Okay, so remember that we removed 1.5 here, 1.5 here, so making it 3 inches. So we should have 3 inches at those parts. So whatever thing we are doing when we are attaching the sides at the front parts, okay, we should make sure that we determine that's 3 inches that we remove here. Okay, all right. So here I have back my 3 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead be fixing my loop. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'll just go ahead and okay, as you can see, it's coming, it's looking very beautiful. All right, so thank you for watching till the end, till we'll meet in my next class. Okay, and I would really like you to try yours. Okay, it's very simple and it's looking very beautiful. Okay, thank you for watching. And please, if this is your first time stopping by, kindly help out by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. And it's very free. Thank you. Bye.